Part of what McDonald's is today is part of what people like Max helped to create. Max originally was in the PR firm. That's how he first got his associated with McDonald's, was through the PR firm with a handshake deal with Ray Kroc. Then in 1966, he decided it's time for him to get on the other side of the fence. He wanted to be an operator. And I didn't know Max then, but I've heard him tell stories about it many times. He came to Birmingham, and I think there's 3 or 4 stores there at the time, and then he built it to 40 stores over the period of time. He was always thinking, how can we make McDonald's better? How can we make that hamburger, even though it's a small hamburger, how can we make it better? Then how do we make the Big Mac better? He was always thinking about how does he make it easier for the crew people. He was always thinking about improvement. And one of the things he liked to do was to talk to other operators at McDonald's about, here's what I'm thinking, what do you think? And he'd take what he thought, blend it together with what other operators thought, and that's how he came up with a lot of good things he did. He did time studies in his stores with cameras watching. He did all kinds of really innovative things that never became part of the system, but they're part of Max's system, and it helped him be the kind of person that he was. He was one of the big pushers for the Play Place, the Big Mac jingle. That originated with Max being very heavily involved in creating that. Of course, we don't do that as often as we used to, but it's still to all be, I can't say it. Max, he could still say that at the age of 98 and 99, because the last time we talked about that is about a year before he passed, and he zipped right through it. He could do it without any problem, but his initiator of that, he was just always thinking. He was really never hesitant to push McDonald's Corporation, push fellow operators, just to push to make things better. He was just a very creative guy that came up with ideas that made it simpler for the crew in the stores. That's one of his things, was it's too hard for our crew people to do the job. So he was always wanting to come up with a better way. If he talked to McDonald's corporate people, the powers to be, so to speak, and they said no, then he would not stop there. He would push until he got somebody that at least listened to him. And many of his ideas, no matter how small they were, they got taken into play. Of course, the Play Place, that's a biggie. Ronald McDonald is a biggie. So he's got some really big deals in there that he was responsible for pushing and getting them done. Well, he was always packaging meals. And so it was not called, quote, an extra value meal in those days, but he was always packaging something. It might be an apple pie to go along with a hamburger and a fry. He was always packaging it together so that he'd be selling a meal. If we can sell this, then we can have a very nice penny profit. He looked at pennies. He didn't worry about the dollars too much. He just get the pennies and you'll be okay. But Max really pushed it. I mean, he just said, this is what we must do if we're going to have food costs where we want it to be and give the customer great value, because those two things went together like a hand and a glove to Max. You had to give the customer a good value, but it had to also make money for us. He always operated on the assumption if the operator is successful, then the company will have to be successful. And that's sort of what Fred didn't say it that same way, but that's what Fred was, that's what his actions indicated, is that he knew if he helped the operators be successful, then the McDonald's Corporation had to be successful. There's no way they could not be successful if they had the operators out there doing a good job serving customers and making money and building the business. His advice to a young person coming to McDonald's, he said, make sure you're willing to work hard, make sure you're not going to be a clock watcher, make sure you care about people, make sure you understand what it means to really satisfy the customer. Proud to say that Max and I were friends, because he was a good friend and just a very interesting man.